3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wash Nuggets podcast, our first postseason podcast of the year. I'm your host, Patrick Kennedy, also known as PK, and I'm joined by Matthew Hinnon, also known as Matty Ice. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, man. We are on to episode 41, giving you guys a little regular season recap. I'm doing great. Denver is buzzing right now. We've got a lot of teams doing pretty good. The Avs are first in the league. They're the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, which is super exciting. The Nuggets are in another playoff run. Yeah, man, it's a buzz here in Denver.
Rockies are playing some good baseball, or so I've heard.
Rockies are finally playing good baseball.
Love to see it. Love to see it. But we got a great show for you guys today. Going to discuss a season breakdown for you guys. Find out what standout accomplishments the Nuggets had this year. You'd be surprised. And we're also going to talk about some player standouts. But before we dive into things, go ahead down below, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. We'd love for you to be a part of a growing community that we have here at the Wash Nuggets podcast. Let's dive right into things. Segment one here. We're going to break down the season, standings, and kind of the overall playoff picture here. The Nuggets finished with a 54-28 record, finishing third in the Western Conference. And the Nuggets finished on a high note with a 14-game heater, the longest win streak in the Jokić era, which is actually very impressive. Matt, what was your kind of final thoughts on the overall record, where we finished in standings? I mean, and in terms of how you thought the season was going to go prior to the beginning of the season and kind of where the season ended off. What kind of taste does that leave in your mouth?
I mean, compared to where we thought we were going to be at the beginning of the season, I would say that we finished a little bit lower than I think most people or most Nuggets fans, most critics, most analysts thought that the Nuggets would. And that was just due to all the injuries. I'm really proud of this team for finishing the way that they did. If you would have told me that the Nuggets would finish third in the Western Conference as we were on our incredibly long skid, it felt like from the end of December until end of February, beginning of March almost, I would have said that you're crazy. And for the Nuggets to kind of all of the entire team, all the players just kind of said, keep the faith. We have this. We know what kind of team we have, and they put their money where their mouth was for sure. Finished on that 12-game winning streak and took it to some teams that we didn't think they would. But I was very pleasantly surprised at the Nuggets end to the season from where we were sitting in February. So I'm really proud of the third place finish. I know a lot of people were talking back and forth between third and fourth place as to what side of the bracket we were going to be on, but I'm just proud of the guys that they finished the way that they did and came out on a really good high note to start the postseason.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the way we finished up as well. Beat some pretty good teams, some really high notes in there. Had that great Spurs game. I think that'll go down as one of the greatest Jokić shots of all time. That overtime floater over Wemby, where he kind of did his step back signature somber shuffle. But I mean, the season, like you said, all the ups and downs. First to finish on that high note was kind of the cherry on top of the season. Hopefully we have even higher ceiling in the postseason, but kind of a little overall recap. This tweet from @BobbyMeyer on Twitter kind of summed it up pretty good. He said the Nuggets season was for real in three parts: a 20-6 record to start the season, a 19-20 record during the injury-plagued stretch, and a 15-2 record to close the season. So just kind of a good way of putting it. Like it really did feel like the Nuggets season was in three different parts. I mean, you can hardly remember when the Nuggets were 20-6 to start the season. You forget how much of a roll they were on. And when we were shooting the podcast, we were rolling. Vibes were high. We were on pace for like a 62-game win season. And then just felt like everybody was getting bit by the injury bug. All of the starters except Murray went down at one point, and it was rough, man. And even when Jokić got back, I mean, there were still some hiccups here and there. We were losing games that we didn't need to. It took a while for Jokić to get back to full health, and then everything kind of came back into play at the right time. 15-2 record to end the season, and a 12 game heater to end the season, which was absolutely amazing. But let's go into some standout accomplishments for the team. Matty Ice, why don't you go through this since you built this beautiful graphic for us?
Yeah, for sure. So the Nuggets finished first in the league in points per game with 122.1 points per game. They finished first in the league in 3-point percentage with 39.6%. They had the fourth highest assists in the league with 29. That was 29
Per game.
I think that was 29. Yeah, 29 assists per game.
So.
Yes. And then field goal percentage, they've finished second overall in the league with 49.6% shooting from the field. The assist to turnover ratio was phenomenal. It was the best in the league this year, which was 2.25 to 1 assists to turnovers. And then the offensive rating was phenomenal. It was first in the league with 122.6, almost mirrors the points per game. And it is the second best all time in the NBA behind the 2023-2024 Boston Celtics, which just unreal when you talk about offense. And it was kind of overlooked by how bad the Nuggets defense was this season overall, especially with all the injuries. I would not have guessed this at all, but the Nuggets offense was rolling this year, and they just made some really interesting close games. But it kind of goes to show you, if the Nuggets were healthy all the way throughout the season, what kind of team this would have been if we were seeing those 20-6 record continue throughout the rest of the season in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be ups and downs, absolutely. That's just the way it is in sports. But if you kind of continue that momentum and you're healthy, you are really looking at a 60 plus game or 60 plus win season for these guys, which is just absolutely phenomenal. But again, I think this offensive masterclass that the Nuggets put out is one of the reasons that they're in the 3 spot and not, either out of the playoffs or sitting in a play-in or at, the very best, the bottom of the totem pole for the playoffs.
Yeah, that offensive rating is something that really, really jumps out on the page here. Like you said, it's the second greatest offensive rating in the NBA of all time. And it's not too far from that Celtics record set in the 2023-24 season. For a little context, their offensive rating was 123.2, and we finished this year with an offensive rating of 122.6. So just behind that record. I mean, if Nuggets play this good next year, I think they have no problem with a healthy team achieving this record, because I mean they started the season off, when they started off high. I remember hearing that they had the highest offensive rating of all time. Obviously that didn't stick because of injuries and such. But another one that stands up on the page is that 3-point shooting percentage to me, just under 40%. Obviously, like you said, number one in the NBA. This is the first time the Denver Nuggets have ever led this stat in the NBA. So it's really cool for the franchise, to have that kind of recognition. And it just goes to show guys like Murray that were able to knock down the three. I mean, you could just go down the list of the guys that shot the 3 ball really well this year. And then that assist to turnover ratio is really, really impressive to me. I mean, a lot of that goes to Jokić, but a lot of other guys had some high assist numbers this year. You think about Jamal Murray, averaged over 7 assists. So really, really cool stuff for those types of numbers there. Let's go now. Let's look at the playoff picture, Matt. You want to pull that up for us?
Yeah.
So the Nuggets, like I said, finished with a 54-28 record, achieving third in the Western Conference, and we will face the Timberwolves. This is just a great matchup overall. I mean, you think of recent, matchups that we've had in the recent Jokić era of who do we usually face? Oh, we got to go through the Timberwolves at some point. We had to do it in 2023. They had our number in 2024, and even in 2025 a little bit. But I think this year we've got a good look at beating them. But why don't you go through, break down this Western Conference playoff picture for us, Matt?
Yeah, so the the Lakers and the Rockets one will be really interesting. Lakers are without Luka, and KD's kind of just that guy when it comes to the playoffs. I was looking at a couple of his stats earlier today, and I really can see the Rockets pulling this one off, but I could also see the Lakers kind of rallying into that playoff Lakers like we're kind of used to seeing. And I know they've played the Nuggets a lot in the playoffs, and Jamal Murray has always been the Laker killer, but they are on the other side of the bracket. So whoever gets through that has to play the Thunder. I'm assuming the Thunder are definitely making it to the second round. I feel like they just have a very, very good team. And then the Nuggets are on the Spurs side of the bracket. So they will play the Suns or the Trailblazers, who are playing right now. And I'm not entirely sure what that game is looking like at the moment. We had just started this as they were starting that game, so that'll be a very interesting one. The Spurs are I think the Spurs will definitely come out on top of that. Victor Wembanyama's playing great. Stephon Castle's one of their really good sharpshooters. And then the Nuggets Timberwolves matchup, man, it's one of those that you get your popcorn out for. The Nuggets have a 3-1 record versus the Timberwolves this year. It's the first time that they've had a winning record against the Timberwolves in the last couple of years. The Timberwolves have definitely been a Nuggets killer, and this is one that's going to be super exciting. It's a 3 against the 6 seed, but the Timberwolves aren't. I really stress that the Timberwolves don't look like a 6 seed. I think they are a very sneaky team. I think Anthony Edwards is dealing with a little bit of that runner's knee, which is really interesting. I was talking to one of my physical therapists that I work with today, and he was kind of just like, yeah, he'll be fine. It's the playoffs. Anthony Edwards is going to play. He's going to give it his all. I think he'll be 100% or close to 100%, or at least he'll play like it. So it's one to get your popcorn out for. And for the Nuggets, it's one you definitely don't want to overlook. You don't want to look to the Spurs matchup in the next round and be like, okay, how do we go about that without taking care of the Timberwolves first?
So yeah, if we can take care of the Timberwolves in 5, I mean, if you can take care of them in less than 6 games, I feel very confident about where our guys are at health wise and how we face the Spurs throughout this year. I feel really comfortable in that matchup, but we'll have more on the Timberwolves Nuggets matchup for you guys. A great rivalry, like we've been talking about. Really, really excited for that matchup. Anthony Edwards kind of scares the shit out of me, to be honest. But
oh, absolutely,
makes for an all-time classic. Jokić loves to rise to the occasion when guys like to play him. So,
oh yeah,
let's go into our second segment now. We're going to go into some player evaluations. Let's go first for the obvious one, Nikola Jokić, the MVP. Although he's not likely to win it, but
yeah,
everybody who knows ball understands that this guy is legit. Cannot take this guy for granted.
I was seeing a Bleacher Report post on Instagram. I think it was Instagram or Twitter today that was going over some of Nikola Jokic's stats, and the comment section was overwhelmingly saying that Nikola Jokić has been robbed of his 6th MVP in a row, which to put that, he's won 3. So there are 50% of the years in the past 6 years that he should have won MVP that he's not. And I will preface this. This is the best stat line we have ever seen from Nikola Jokić in his career. And he will not win the MVP. He's won 3 MVPs before this with a lesser stat line in these stats, which I just think is absolutely insane and atrocious. But voter fatigue is real. And we're going to probably see SGA win the MVP for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah. Why don't you go through each of these stats and what he averaged in this monstrous year that should be an MVP year?
Yeah, for sure. Nikola Jokić is sitting right now at the end of the season at 8th in the league in points per game with 27.7 points per game. He shot 56.9% from the field and 39% from three. That 3-point percentage kind of wavered there at the end of the year. He was wearing the arm sleeve, the double arm sleeve, and in some games would wear that wrist tape. So we're thinking, maybe some past injuries, that wrist injury that he had last year and the elbow injury that he had last year are kind of coming back to give him a little bit of trouble. But obviously, his touch hasn't gone away, but that 3-point percentage did drop later into the year. He shot 83.1% from the free throw line, which kind of seems high for the amount of times I was watching him miss some free throws, especially at the end of the year, which is interesting. But the two stats that jump out for me, and especially for MVP talk, is he averaged 12.9 rebounds per game, almost 13 rebounds per game. That was number one in the league. And 10.7 assists, almost 11 assists per game. And that is also first in the league. He is the first player in NBA history to lead both rebounds and assists in the same season. And he's not going to win MVP.
Not even Wilt Chamberlain ever did that, which is crazy because
we can't say not since Wilt. We can't say
Nope.
not since Wilt for this. It's never been done before, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and as we've noted before on a prior episode, he's the second player to average a triple-double in back-to-back seasons. That's an insanely hard thing to do. I don't think people realize how hard that is to do, even to average a triple-double in one season, let alone to do it in back-to-back seasons. Obviously, our friend Russell Westbrook did that. Really cool stuff. Obviously, MVP year for him, averaged career highs in assists this year, almost at 11. But he was not only first in triple doubles, obviously, this year, he was first in double doubles, first in rebounds per game, and assists per game. As you said, nobody's ever led both of those categories. Fourth in true shooting percentage, sixth in plus minus at 8.5, seventh in points per game, or seventh or eighth, whatever we had it in points per game. Eighth, gotcha. And then, I mean, this is just insane to average 28, 13, and 11 on 57, 38, and 83% shooting. We could yoke off all night.
We could yoke off all night.
Sounds like
we could yoke off all night. But we're going to go to our next guy, Jamal Murray, obviously the number two. For sometimes the number one. He was the number one player on this team for a good stretch there for a couple months. So, and Jamal Murray had his first All-Star season this year, going to be his first All-NBA. I sure hope so. Don't know how he isn't. He finished with 25.4, almost 25.5 points per game. That was 12th in the league. He shot 48.3% from the field. He shot 43.5% from three, and he shot 88.7% from the free throw line. He had 4.4 rebounds per game and I think this is a career high 7.1 assists per game. That was 10th in the league, and he finished with a plus minus of 5.8. It was the season that we wanted Jamal Murray to have. It is the season we had been asking for Jamal Murray, and he delivered in a huge way. So, Pat, what do you take away from Jamal Murray's season this year?
It's definitely way more than we asked. I remember us at the beginning of the season, or even in our preseason episodes, I just wanted a more consistent Jamal Murray. And This is the most consistent and best Jamal Murray that we've seen ever. Right? He's definitely will be an all NBA candidate, likely second team. I don't see him falling to third team. That would be crazy. But career highs in points, he 25.4 points per game. That's 4 more than his previous career high, which was last year at 21.4 points per game. He beat that by a whole 4 points per game. That's how big of a jump he had. In his consistency in points per game. He had a handful of 30-point games, a few 40 pieces, and a couple of 50 pieces, which was so fun to see when he just gets on those heaters. Also career highs in rebounds, assists, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage, which was low key surprising to me. He did miss a couple of clutch ones down the stretch, and he beat that free throw percentage by just 0.1, which was last year as well, but still a career high. Really great stuff.
Something that we didn't mention in this is Jamal Murray passed Michael Porter Jr. for most 3-pointers made in a season by a Nugget. And I don't know what the exact number is. I think it's like 240 something in the regular season. Which was fantastic. And I know there was a little bit of fight between him and Tim Hardaway Jr. because Tim Hardaway Jr. also beat out Michael Porter Jr.'s previous record coming off the bench, which we will get to Tim Hardaway Jr. here in a second. But I just thought that was absolutely incredible. And the Nuggets finished the season with over 555 made threes as a team. And that just goes to show, I mean, that just fits in with our graphic that had the they were the highest 3-point percentage team in the league. And I think they worked on this a lot in practice. I think David Adelman might have stressed it a little bit, but these guys are prolific 3-point shooters now, and I think that's fantastic and definitely needed that for this season to go how it did.
Yeah, I pulled up that stat. So Michael Porter Jr. had the most 3 points made in a season for the Nuggets at 220, and he did this in the 23-24 season. Jamal finished the season with 245, so he exceeded that by a good 25 3-pointers made. And Tim Hardaway Jr. exceeded that by 4. He finished with 224 3-pointers made, and that's crazy to see from one of your bench guys. We're going to get into him in a second, but he came off the bench and is now the second time all-time leading 3-point shooter or 3 points made for the Denver Nuggets. Absolutely great stuff. Yeah. Let's go on to our next one. Oh, and so perfect. He's
the first one.
Cover.
Yeah. He's the first one that we're going to cover. So Tim Hardaway Jr. finished with a 13.5 point, 2.6 rebound, and 1.4 assist year. He finished with 40.7% in his 3-point percentage, and he played 26.6 minutes per game. He played 80 games this season. He played in 80 games, averaged 26 minutes a game. He was fantastic for the Nuggets. And might I add, with all of the injuries and all of the stuff, just the BS that happened for the Nuggets this year, I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is your X factor. You do not get the sparks, you do not get the runs, you do not get the 3-point shooting that you do without Tim Hardaway Jr. on this team. I think this was the best pickup by far the Nuggets made this offseason. He made an immediate impact. I think his veteran leadership brought a crazy amount of trust and willfulness and just an overall calming sense, especially when the Nuggets are going through a crazy stretch with injuries. He is your anchor guy. He's your anchor being Marvel Cinematic Universe, shout out, to hold this team together, to be that kind of glue guy when you don't have guys like Cam Johnson or Christian Brown or Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, the biggest out of that list, I believe. So it's one of those things where you bring this guy in and he delivers kind of monumentally for the Nuggets season. I think he might be a little bit overlooked. I thought he had a fantastic year.
Yes, I mean, like you said, and you've been saying this all year, so props to you on this. But he has been the X factor off the bench for us. We thought that Big Val was Big Val was great for us at the beginning of the season, but he kind of had some ups and downs off the bench. But Tim Hardaway Jr., just that absolute spark that we needed. And it's so great to just have that guy who can put the dagger into teams when teams are when Jokić is sitting, or like when the bench guys are in. That's when other teams are like, okay, we can catch up to the Nuggets here. But when Tim Hardaway Jr. hits like 2 or 3 threes in a row, forces a other team to call a timeout, that's how you know the Nuggets got the other team right where they are. And absolutely great stuff from THJ. That 80 games played by Tim Hardaway Jr. is something that really, really stands out to me. That's the second most played in games since his rookie season in New York in 2013, 2014. And he played in 81 games that year. So for Unk to do that, really, really impressive stuff. Excited to see what he can bring for us off the bench in the postseason. Let's go on to
he's
Peyton
got
Watson
some
now.
postseason experience as well. Yeah, Peyton Watson finished the breakout season for Peyton Watson. He finished with 14 and a half points, almost 5 rebounds, 2 assists per game. And he was hindered a lot late in the season by that hamstring injury, but he shot 41.1% from 3 and 49.1% from the field. And I have this little stat down here that is from the end of December until like end of February, beginning of March. Peyton Watson was averaging 22, 5, and 3 when everybody was out, when all of the starters were out. This was his time to shine for his breakout season, and he was delivering. He was almost single-handedly keeping the Nuggets somewhat afloat during that time, and him and a couple stints of Jalen Pickett just playing ungodly off the bench. But Peyton Watson had a fantastic stint, and it brought his stock up, I think, exponentially for this offseason for other teams. I think this injury may have hindered that slightly. Kind of depends on how he looks coming back off of injury. He came back off of injury and had 2 20-plus point games right after he came back from injury, which I was like, yeah, Peyton Watson's back. And then kind of started to kind of drift back into that injury prone situation that he finds himself in right now. I really hope and pray, and it looks like the Nuggets training staff is taking that incredibly seriously. And that seems to me like they're going to give him a contract extension at the end of this year, beginning of the offseason. So,
yeah, I mean, I just always keep thinking about that January that he had, that Peyton Watson really, really made a name for himself, and really glad the Nuggets didn't do anything to, piss away the trade deadline by getting rid of who could be your face of the Nuggets in years to come once guys like Jokić and Murray retire. I hate to talk about that, but it's going to come someday.
Don't want to think about it.
You got to make Peyton Watson the face of this team for the future. And
absolutely,
if it takes going into the second apron, you should do it.
You might as well do it. Yeah,
but
exactly.
We'll see what happens there. But like you said, career highs for him in a lot of these categories: points, rebounds, and assists. Very, very impressive stuff from Peyton Watson. Let's go into our last one.
Our last one is Cam Johnson, 12.2 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.4 assists as the splits this season. He shot 43% from 3 and 48% from the field. He finished 8th in the league in 3-point percentage. And I just love Cam Johnson's kind of character arc or player arc this season. Started off really slow, didn't really know where his spot in the lineup was, and then very late into the year has his injury, has his little ankle injury, and then comes back off of that and just explodes with confidence, especially from the 3-point line. Cam Johnson finished the year just lighting it up, and I absolutely love the way that he grew his confidence, figured out where he fits into this team, kind of grew into that Michael Porter Jr. just to huck it up type of guy, but he finds himself open a lot as the result of Jokić in the paint, and Jokić has found him on many occasions, and he has sunk some huge threes for the Nuggets, especially late, and especially in that 12-game winning streak, earlier in that 12-game winning streak. So I absolutely love the way that Cam Johnson's been playing. He is a veteran, and I think he'll be monumental for the Nuggets, especially from beyond the arc in the postseason, if he can keep up that play.
Yeah, I mean, he's been great. I know he's been getting a lot of flack from the casual Nuggets fan, but as of recent, I mean, he closed the season huge for us. I mean, in his last 4 games, he had 19 points, 17 points, 17 points, and 18 points. Just lit it up from 3. I mean, he had 3+ three-pointers made in 3 of these 4 games. Really, really great stuff from Cam Johnson. I'm a big fan. I do think that it was probably a pretty even trade, if not the Nuggets, or a win-win trade. I mean, both teams benefited from this trade, and what he's given you defensively has been really, really awesome. And you said it great earlier this season on one of our pods. You said that Cam Johnson's a Swiss Army knife. Like, he can do a ton for you defensively, offensively. And I've been saying this all season too. He fits in really, really well with the flow of the offense. And I really do enjoy having Cam Johnson on our team.
Yeah, definitely. And to your point about a little bit about defense, I mean, he plays solid defense. He stays in front of his guy. He can guard the 3-point line a little bit. There are times when smaller offensive guards are on him and they can kind of get by him, but smaller offensive guards are getting by Jamal and your supposedly defensive guard in Christian Brown. So I'm not going to give him too much flack for that at all. But yeah, he had a great season and he's one of the three that are up here. So we are running about 30 minutes, a longer show for us. But if you guys like this, go down, hit that subscribe button down below. Again, join us for all of your news and notes regarding the Denver Nuggets. I am going to throw this graphic back up here for the NBA playoff bracket. The Nuggets take on the Minnesota Timberwolves this Saturday, April 18th, and it is a matinee game. It is a Saturday afternoon at 1:30 Mountain Time. I have no idea, and I hate that for the Nuggets.
I'm really pissed off about that because, I mean, the Rockets and Lakers got the 6:30 game, like the night game. And I mean, that's just kind of a shitter of a matchup, low key. I mean, the Lakers are hurt. Rockets aren't that fun of a team. But I mean, you have Nuggets and Timberwolves with the matinee game, a rivalry of recent years that always produce in the playoffs. I don't know. That one kind of pisses me off, but
yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, obviously, because the Nuggets don't play super well in matinee games, but they won their last one. That game is on Prime Video. If you want to tune in, if you guys have an Amazon account, which I think everybody does, definitely go hit that game up if you can at 1:30. I will be watching at work 1000% because it's a Saturday. And yes, I do work on Saturdays, unfortunately, but
until we start making more money from this podcast.
Absolutely. So you guys go down, hit that subscribe button again, join us at the Watch Nuggets podcast. So we're going to get out of here. Pat, do you have anything else to add before we hop on out?
No, we should be doing a pre-game
playoff,
pre-playoff matchup. That's what I was trying to say. Here in a couple days. So be on the lookouts for that. Be on the lookouts for some of our shorts on our socials. At Wash Nuggets on TikTok, at Wash Nugs on Instagram, and on Twitter at Wash Nugs. Check us out, man. Subscribe if you made it this far. Love you guys. And Matty Ice, hit that outro button.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.